Late last week, Justin Timberlake posted a statement to Instagram. If you weren't aware there was something going on with Justin Timberlake, that there was a statement, but it's okay. It dropped at the end of last week, which means it hit the Friday afternoon news cycle in August in summer. Was that by design? Yeah, because it always is. Hey there, welcome to the PR Breakdown Podcast. I'm your host, Molly McPherson. So late last week, just as the internet was fighting over Sydney Sweeney's jeans and Donald Trump firing the person in charge of counting jobs, Justin Timberlake quietly dropped a personal bombshell.
The 44-year-old opening up on Instagram about the toll the disease has taken, writing, "I've been battling some health issues and was diagnosed with Lyme disease."
Here's a quote from that statement that appeared on Instagram. If you've experienced this disease or know someone who has, then you're aware living with this can be relentlessly debilitating, both mentally and physically. It was a long statement. Timberlake revealed that he'd been battling Lyme disease during his 2-year Forget Tomorrow World Tour. He described the toll it took on his body and mind and how he nearly ended the tour early, how the mystery of his symptoms consumed him, and how grateful he was to have made it through. He also very intentionally reframed a story, because for much of the past year, the story surrounding Justin Timberlake hasn't been about his resilience. It's been about his disengagement, his performances, his reputation, his energy, or lack thereof. Let me back up. So Timberlake's Forget Tomorrow World Tour wrapped in Turkey just days ago. And while early shows in North America were relatively well received, fan complaints exploded during the European leg. From Paris to Dublin to Romania, the internet lit up with a consistent chorus that something was off. I first heard about this statement on a TikTok live that I did late last week. I was on Substack in the morning talking about a response to the Texas floods. And then I had planned a YouTube live, and in between, I went on TikTok. And there, a follower, Ashley, asked me about the Justin Timberlake statement. Now, a number of things had been dogging Justin Timberlake for the last few years. There's, of course, questions of infidelity with his wife, actress Jessica Biel. Also, his treatment of Britney Spears when her autobiography came out. Then, of course, there's a DUI. There's just been a lot of things that he's been dealing with. This was one more thing he did not want to add to that plate, so he needed to deflect it. The algorithm knows that I'm interested, so I've seen a number of posts. Fans noticed that Timberlake wasn't actually singing full songs. In show after show, he held the mic out to the crowd, skipped verses, or let the backing track do the word. One viral comment called him a glorified hype man, which really kind of nailed it. Another quote, "Why did I pay over 200 euros for him to sing half the chorus and just bounce?" Another one said that performance could have been an email. Timberlake was barely moving. So gone was the tight choreography that he's known for. He's always been known as the guy who just puts all this energy into the dance and the performance. But now fans were describing his body language as disengaged and low energy. In multiple clips that I saw, he wore his hoodie up, he was kind of moving sluggishly and rarely interacted with the audience. At several stops, he arrived late. Some shows ended so abruptly, the fans weren't even sure if he was coming back out or not. A few performances, especially in Dublin and Paris, ran less than 60 minutes, despite being billed as a full-length arena concert. One Irish fan posted on X, quote, "I waited in the rain for that." And another person wrote, 2 hours late, 1 hour on stage. I want my money back. I don't blame them. The disappointment turned to frustration because when things happen and people spend money and they're expecting something else, that disappointment immediately turns into frustration. Then come the jokes, then the memes, then the edits, then the scathing Reddit threads. So Timberlake wasn't just having one off night. It was multiple, and he was also becoming a punchline. And then on the final night of the tour, he posted the statement. I have a link in my show notes to the statement. Let me just read the first few lines so you can get a sense of where he was going here. First of all, it's a carousel, meaning there's a series of photos in the post. So let's start at the beginning. As these 2 incredible years come to an end and I look forward to the future, I wanted to write something from the heart. It's not an easy task to try to contextualize the whirlwind of touring. Dash, comma, I will try, ellipsis. I'm going to stop there for a moment. When I read that on the live last week, I immediately knew a few things. One, he did not write this. It was just clearly written by someone on his team, or they hired a publicist to write it. There are a lot of dashes, a lot of punctuation punches in here, which leads me down an AI-assisted path. It's too tight. It also, the forensics on it don't match his typical writing, which I think makes sense. And so the statement kind of matches his attitude. It's just do it. Just put it up so he can be done with it and get it out there. Continuing on. This has been the most fun, emotional, gratifying, physically demanding, and at times grueling experience. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. Okay, so right now he's starting to frame it like, remember, I've been doing this a long time. He's tired, it's on the body. So quote back to the statement, which feels crazy to say. That's in parens, and then it's dash, dash. And have given all that I have to this. Okay, so now he's letting you know, hey, everyone, remember all the work that I've done for you. This is on you. Back to the statement. I could not have done it without my family, friends, the TN kids, and all of your support. As many of you know, I'm a pretty private person. Yeah, when it comes to a lot of the issues that you're facing, you keep it private. But as I'm reflecting on the tour and festival tour, dash, I want to tell you a little bit about what's been going on with me. Among other things, I've been battling some health issues and was diagnosed with Lyme disease, small dash, long dash, which I don't say so you feel bad for me, dash, dash, but to shed some light on what I've been up against behind the scenes. If you've experienced this disease or know someone who has dash, then you're aware living with this can be relentlessly debilitating both mentally and physically. Okay, so let me just stop right there. You can read the rest of the post. Again, the link is in my show notes, so you can find it on his Instagram. So this is a statement of framing. And it goes on, but here are some other lines that are coming from it. Quote, I was faced with a personal decision, stop touring or keep going and figure it out. I'm so glad I kept going. The joy that performing brings me far outweighs the fleeting stress my body was feeling. I was always raised to keep something like this to yourself, but I'm trying to be more transparent about my struggles so they aren't misinterpreted. Okay, so now we have the framing to explain why he was dragging himself on stage for so long. It wasn't just one concert, it was multiple concerts. I honestly don't know what my future is on stage, but I'll always cherish this run. Now he wants you to think, oh my gosh, he may never come back. We're so lucky that we got to see him in the first place. And all of them before, it's been the stuff of legend in all caps for me. Sending love to my beautiful family, including the wife he is suspected of cheating on, and immense gratitude to my entire team and crew. I love you all deeply, and to everyone that came out to the shows, you have my heart. Okay, so there we go, the statement. There's no question the statement was highly punctuated, but well written. It was emotional. It was authentic sounding, even though I do not think that he wrote it. But its timing was razor sharp, dropped at the exact moment when Timberlake needed a narrative reboot the most. He didn't post it when the negativity started, not after Paris, not after Dublin. He waited until the very end, when no shows were left to cancel, no refunds could be demanded, and no critics could say he was using an illness as an excuse for poor performance. He waited until the story was fully out of his hands, then pulled it back. Even more notably, he posted it during a heavy news cycle. We were deep into the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle campaign. And can I tell you, that story is still going on. I have never had more press outreach on a story in such a condensed amount of time. I just turned down a morning news hit. At first I said I would do it because someone said, you should do it. It's morning network news. And then I went, no, I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy. Plus it's getting late. But I think all the networks asked me to speak. I was on CNN last week, and this week they're looping the same article, CNN Digital, NPR last Monday. I'm going to be on NPR this Wednesday, actually the day this podcast drops. And everyone is asking about this American Eagle campaign. Is it because the whole world cares about it? No, it's because we are in a drop in the news cycle. That's why Justin Timberlake is so friggin' lucky that his tour ends just as we're in the middle of this huge Sydney Sweeney American Eagle marketing campaign. In addition to that, Donald Trump firing his head of Bureau of Labor Statistics for releasing an unfavorable jobs report. He accused her of manipulating data to boost Kamala Harris's odds in 2028. So she got dropped. And what else dropped was Timberlake's post. Very quietly dropped right as timelines were flooded. So it gave his reveal a shield of sincerity and a cushion of distraction. Now let's talk about Lyme disease for a moment. It's real. It's serious. It is transmitted through tick bites. It can lead to several symptoms, severe symptoms, if not treated early, like joint pain, muscle aches, nerve damage, chronic fatigue, brain fog, mood changes, memory issues. All the things that my son dealt with when he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes like 4 years ago. He was also diagnosed with Lyme disease at the same time. And since then, we've seen infectious disease doctors, the chief at Boston Children's. So I know more than the average cat about Lyme disease. But here's the tricky part about that disease. It's very difficult to really understand the impact that it has long term. The infectious people at Boston Children's really told me like how limited of a disease that it can be, but there are a number of people who do suffer from it. So this is not a medical podcast, but I'm just going to say this. Because there are so many questions about it and how many people truly, truly suffer from Lyme disease, as opposed to people whose Lyme disease may have triggered maybe another immune-related disease, an autoimmune-related disease, or some other issues, they're still working with it. But from what I know about it in terms of what the infectious team told me, and also what I know about it as a crisis manager, it is convenient. It is a very convenient diagnosis. I'm not saying that just Justin Timberlake doesn't have it, but it is convenient because there's no timeline for the diagnosis. There's no quote from a doctor. There's no mention of treatment. There's no statement on whether he's still in active illness. Nothing. He's spending all the time on the specifics about how it affected him. And the time that he spends explaining about the disease, it's not about the disease itself. It's about parts of the disease that seem to mirror the accusations that were lobbed against him. It's so ambiguous. And it also echoes another high-profile case. Justin Bieber in 2020 said the same thing. He was dodging rumors about drug use and canceled appearances. Bieber said at that time, quote, while a lot of people kept saying Justin Bieber looks like shite on meth, etc., they failed to realize I've been recently diagnosed with Lyme disease. It's been a rough couple of years, but I'm getting the right treatment. That reveal helped Bieber reframe the public scrutiny, but the questions still linger with Justin Bieber. So Timberlake's statement follows the same playbook, almost beat for beat. And let's not pretend that this is Timberlake's first PR reset. He faced intense backlash after framing Britney Spears, reignited criticism of how he handled the breakup. He then issued a delayed apology. He stayed silent after his 2004 Super Bowl appearance with Janet Jackson. It derailed her career, but he only much later expressed regret. Last year, arrested for a DWI, or was it a DUI, in the Hamptons. He came out with a statement after he dealt with the legal issues and then launched an album soon after. When it flopped, pivoted into tour mode. But each time things spiral, he goes quiet and then he reemerges with a new angle. Now, this time, it's his health. The verdict. So is Justin Timberlake Lyme? Not necessarily. Lyme disease is complex. It doesn't always have clear timelines. He very well could suffer from it. But what is undeniable is that his messaging is strategic. He waited until the heat built up. He dropped it when no one could ask for more, and he wrapped it up in gratitude, family, nostalgia, and just enough vagueness to protect the framing. It was emotionally effective. It worked reputationally. It was a Friday. It's not a huge news story, but it also asked the public to forget months of disappointing performances and accept without question that the fault lies with an illness, not indifference. And that was the last post from Justin Timberlake. There is a pin post that came out February 27th. The caption says all the moments in between that you didn't get to see. So it's a compilation of videos from his tour. So there he is kissing Jessica Biel, his wife. It's all the things he wants you to see. And some of the comments on the post from last week also been limited. Thanks to my podcast partner, Muckrack, giving me the PR software to look up a lot of the articles from Justin Timberlake. I noticed one from E! News. Justin Timberlake shares fiery message after revealing Lyme disease. So what he did is he shared a number of Instagram stories. He reposted one from his wife, Jessica Biel, saying so happy that they're home. So she's playing along with the narrative. And then he's wearing a shirt that says, I'm not doing shite today. Mission accomplished. That was in the stories. It was not in the grid. So right now, Justin Timberlake is closing in on his social media and his messaging until all of this goes away. It's late summer. The timing could not be any better for Justin Timberlake. So will it work? Yeah, probably will. The final word on this, okay? You can believe the pain, you can admire the endurance, but you should still ask, why now? Why this way? Because when a message lands perfectly and ends a firestorm overnight, you're not just looking at a confession, you're looking at a campaign. That's all for this week on the podcast. If you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe to keep up with the latest breakdowns in PR strategy and public spin. You can follow me on Substack at Molly McPherson, and I've also launched my calendar of live chats and events. You can subscribe to the calendar to get a direct link to all my lives so you can hear about these stories as they break. Remember, every message is a strategy, so we got to keep reading between those lines. All right, everyone. Bye for now.